So we have been talking here about advocacy and advocacy on many different levels, and you were talking also about advocacy on the national level.
Yes.
And it seems that as we NGOs are here, politicians are somebody whom we are looking almost like enemies.
Yeah, that's my point, that they aren't enemies. You have to make friends with some politicians because, first of all, politicians are human beings. I mean, they want power and they want to be re-elected, but they also want to be in there in order to improve society. So if you can convince some that society will be better if people drink less and if they don't use drugs and if they don't smoke, then politicians will work for that, I'm sure.
You have had experience in politics and also on the NGO level.
Yes.
What do you recommend? What are the best ways for NGO people to approach politicians?
Well, first of all, you have to have facts, evidence-based statements, and you have to, as we say, do your homework. But then you also have to find friends, and I think you will find friends in among parliaments where the members who are interested in social affairs. The committees on health and social affairs, generally speaking, are more favorable, of course, to policies that reduce problems of alcohol, drugs and tobacco. So, and if you find those, we have a very good experience of creating a little group, a little formalized group within Parliament, of members of Parliament and the staff.
In Sweden?
In Sweden we did that, and it's good because then you can have meetings in Parliament where you invite everyone, but where you have a core of members who tend to come and do always then also have the latest knowledge. So I think that's a good idea if you can find just a few who are interested enough to form a group of members of Parliament, hopefully from all parties, but at least from the parties who are favorable, and then that's a foothold, more or less, in Parliament. Then, of course, you also have to work through the political parties and through the civil society and through media. You have to work on all levels in order to influence politics. And my experience is that most political parties are not so strong. So if you join any political party, you can have influence. And you can influence the nomination of candidates for all the levels of government, from municipality, county, regional and national politics. So work both from the outside in pressure groups of different kinds and from the inside of the political parties.
You recommended also yesterday to become a member of parties, and some voices were skeptical about that. We have a feeling as NGO people that we should stay always apolitical, that we shouldn't be involved in this kind of party politics. What do you say about that?
Well, my experience is that there is no real contradiction between working in an NGO and in political parties. I've been doing that all my life, and I have never felt that I've been not listened to because I have a political belief. I'm a liberal in politics, but I am also a social liberal, which means that I don't think that the market economy is good for the alcohol field, for instance. But I've never met that. I can understand if maybe the leader, the prominent figure in every organization, wants to have an identity only as a anti-alcohol person or anti-smoking person, but the members of the NGOs, I think, should infiltrate the political parties. Otherwise, the political parties will only be consisting of people who don't have any NGO affiliation, and that's not good. So I think the members of any NGO should also consider which party do I like the most or which do I dislike the least, and then go in there and try to influence the party. Like I said, party structure is usually not very strong. So, and of course the ultimate goal is to have someone elected to parliament who belongs to your organization, who is a member, not necessarily the top leader, but the member. And like I said, it's not desirable for a democracy to have a situation where politicians are just one breed of people and NGO people are another breed of people, and it's not desirable to have a situation in a democracy where being an NGO leader means that you're disqualified for discussing party politics. I think that's ridiculous. Democracy means it should be that being leader of an NGO, a temperance movement or a sports club or a church or whatever should be a merit that increases your possibility to be elected to parliament, not the opposite. And of course my experience is that most of the members of parliament that I know of, they have passed in the NGO field.
Lastly, I would ask your opinion about the alcohol advertising ban situation here in Lithuania. What do you think, what will happen if Lithuania manages to keep that ban? What will happen in the whole European Union?
I think that will set a very good example. And of course we always look at tobacco. Nowadays tobacco advertising is almost non-existent. And of course, why should we advertise for cancer? Now we know that alcohol also is carcinogenic, so why should we advertise alcohol? And who needs alcohol advertising? Only the people who produce alcohol want advertising, and the press who gets the money from, or the TV chains, they want advertising, but the people don't want alcohol advertising. It's just very useless. It doesn't give you any information, and of course the information that it might have, that you are more successful in sex or in business or something if you drink this or that cognac, of course it's just rubbish. So nobody needs alcohol advertising, and we know it does harm. It increases youth drinking, and it promotes an image that you become more successful in life if you drink this or that brand. And of course everyone who's thinking understands that this is just rubbish. It's not true. And why should we spend money on something which is not needed and not true and does harm?